Hello everybody, Calamity here, and another settlement needs your help. But first, today's video is going to be all about the new Pure Fiction that just came out a few days ago in Honkai Star Rail, and I'm just going to talk about some tips, tricks, strategies to help you along on getting the full clear, when it comes to getting all 3 stars. Now, this attempt isn't actually my first attempt at stage 4. This is actually my second or third. I was trying out all the different buffs with the new blessing, and if you're not familiar with it, we'll go over it in game later on. But basically, the blessing favors characters that do follow-up attacks, and as you're seeing on the screen, Clara does count as a follow-up attack when she does her counter hit with Savrog. So really good character to use there, and of course, Herta always being one of the best units ever for Pure Fiction ever since this this mode has been released. Herta, just again, you don't even need to optimally build her. Just get, just try to get her some decent artifacts with good substats, and a decent weapon, and you already get her for free. And if you've got any extra eidolons, while you're doing your other pulls, then hey, that's even better. But she's just been a great unit. Please build her, use her if you are struggling with Pure Fiction. She will make it so much easier for you. Depending on whichever half you put her on, so you can feel free to put your second half team, put your other DPSs on there and have an easier time. And we're just going to use Clara and Herta to basically just do their follow-up attacks as much as possible to get that cage damage spammed all the time. As you can see, it's working out pretty well. We're at 20,000 points and we still have 2.5 cycles left. The other 2 teammates I want to talk about are definitely flex slots, because not everyone's going to have a Ruan Mei and a Sparkle. That's something else you might also notice, is that I also don't bring a healer for Perfection if I don't need to. I'm also not playing in auto mode. I did try it in auto mode, but the AI just was not having it and wasn't having a good time, and I got pretty close. I got like 58k on an auto run, but I was like, you know what, I'll just take control myself. But anyways, going back to the 2 supports, Ruan Mei, Sparkle, if you don't have either of these characters, don't forget there's other good support characters like Ting Yun, who can give plenty of energy and attack buffs to her team. You can also use Asta, who also has fire weakness, which is good for this particular half. And she also gives a speed boost to your teammates, so more attacks, more more turns, more damage before your cycles are up. So it's always a good thing. If you have Bronya, also another good Harmony character that can instantly give a turn to one of your DPSs, as well as give them a bunch of attack, or crit damage buffs. So she's really good to bring alongside your team. So there's plenty of supports, even if you don't have what you see on the screen before you. Like, I know whenever I make these guides, someone's like, well, I don't have the exact same characters. And the good thing is you don't need the exact same characters I do. In fact, one of the reasons I'm using double support here is because I don't have a Himiko on my account. Ever since launch, Himiko has evaded my, my 50-50 losses, my standard pulls. She just does not want to join my roster of characters, so I just I just don't use Himiko on the first half because I simply don't have her. But if you have Herta, Himiko, and a Ruan Mei, and you put Clara there, that's a lot of follow-up attack damage and a lot of damage from the blessing, or the as well as just toughness break in general. But something else I want to point out is that you don't need everyone in your Pure Fiction runs to live. As you can see, my Herta died and my Clara was very close to dying, but I'm gonna pause this clip from my stream last night. I still got 40k, and that still counts, unlike Memory of Chaos, right, where you need everybody to live. My Herta dying towards the end there, as much as that sucks, doesn't matter. Still got the 40k, and now we're on the second half. And this is what I meant about Herta freeing up your DPS. Now, obviously, on your account, your DPS is going to be different than what I have. I have Acheron, Kafka, Black Swan, and a Bronya. Although, honestly, that Bronya pick was probably not the best idea, as you'll see in a bit. Feel free to put whoever you got, whoever you pulled on this half, and then give them the support that you need to do well in Pure Fiction. So if you don't have Acheron or Kafka, surely you have some DPS that you've pulled for, I hope. You can put them in there, you can put Jingliu in there, you can put Argenti in there. You just have a lot of options, and you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing here. This is just me stacking all of my DPS and one support onto one team, just to try to get as much points as possible. So here I'm just buffing up my characters, and we are doing the Sam fight. So if you are familiar with this fight, do not bring a healer, because when Sam is out on the field and he does his little fire flame thing, it reduces healing by a lot. However, it doesn't reduce shield, so you can still bring characters like Japard, March 7th, and they'll do fairly well against the reduced healing. So here we're just doing basically just all the damage possible. That's it. I am using the blessing here where you don't have to do follow-up attacks, because no one on this team can do follow-up attacks except Kafka. But instead, the damage that they do gets converted towards the cage dropping. And since Acheron does a lot of damage, even though it's only at like 18% of that damage, it's still really, really good. And then we have Bronya here to give extra turns to Acheron or Kafka, depending on, you know, who needs to go, who has turn priority, but usually Acheron, just so she gets more turns and gets to use her ult more often. We're already at 50k, so this team doesn't even have to like fully clear the wave. And that's also something else I wanted to point it out. On my last Pure Fiction guide, I got a comment saying like, "Oh, you didn't even get 40k on your run. What kind of guide is this?" And I was like, that's the point. You don't have to get 40k. I got 40k, you know, on that last attempt because I was manually controlling, first of all, because, you know, if you manually control your characters, you do way better than the auto. But I also have a lot of really good 5-star Harmony characters, but I'm not saying you need them, and I'm not saying you need to get 40k to do well in Pure Fiction. As long as you get around 30k, that's good enough. Here, once we get to this point, I mean, I'm already past at the 60k mark, so actually, why don't we just go ahead and just pause here. I'll go ahead and give you the spoiler. My team dies because Sam does a lot of damage, and I don't have a healer. In fact, my Acheron is already pretty low as is, but I'm already at 70k. That's already more than the 3 stars, the requirement needed. So we got it here. In fact, I got 75k-ish points, so that's really close to a 40k clear on both halves. But honestly, if I just replaced Bronya with a different healer, or with an actual healer, maybe I could have gotten the full 80k. I don't know, but regardless, there's the points. So fictitious wordsmithing is the name of the new Pure Fiction, and the effect is called Whimsicality. After you accumulate a certain amount of damage from your follow-up attacks only, that's when the cage drops on and will do a bunch of damage to all enemies on the field. Now, this is only through follow-up attack damage, but it does include stuff like Clara's counter hit attack. That's follow-up. You do have 3 buffs to choose from, the first one being Examination. This makes it so that you don't have a damage requirement anymore, but instead you have a follow-up attack requirement. So after you do 3 follow-up attacks, you will just launch the cage instead of having to reach a damage threshold. So this is really, really good if you have like a team full of just follow-up attack characters. You know, you got Himiko, Herta, and like Clara all on one team, and you know, you don't need the damage, you need the cage to drop more frequently. This is a really, really good effect for a team like that. The one that I used, however, to get that 40k you saw was Extrapolation. This one gives you energy every time the effect is triggered. This is really good because Clara gets boosted counterattacks whenever she pops her burst, her ultimate. And Herta, well, she just does more damage when she gets her ultimate. And then again, getting your ultimate on your supports is really good. Just more damage for everyone overall. From Ruan Mei and Sparkle for my team there. But I feel like for most teams, Examination is going to be your go-to. And last but not least is Reductio and Absurdum. This makes it so that other types of damage will now add to the damage threshold of the Whimsicality. So it doesn't have to be just follow-up attacks anymore. And this is why I put it on my Acheron/Dot team that you saw in the second half, because none of them really do follow-up attacks again except Kafka. So this gives them the ability to just basically build up that cage. It didn't happen as frequently as the first half, which is why they struggled to get the 40k on the second, but it was still pretty good enough. Again, Acheron hits like a truck. You could also use this with a character like Jingliu to have an easier time building up those cages. Now here is the teams I used once again if you want to see them lined up. It's Clara, Herta, Ruan Mei, Sparkle. Again, I'm just going to reiterate, don't have to use Ruan Mei or Sparkle. They're very nice to have, but there are other supports in this game that I mentioned before, like Ting Yun, Asta, Bronya, and so on. And then for the second half, again, you do not have to do what I'm doing here. I just stacked all of my DPS onto one team. Feel free to do that with your account and with the characters that you have. So I do have Acheron, but again, we do see there's imaginary weakness, or it recommends imaginary types. So you can bring your Welt. We all got Doctor Ratio for free, as long as if you were playing previously. So you have plenty of options there. And plus, Doctor Ratio also does follow-up attacks as well, so he's really good for this pure fiction. And then any other supports that you may or may not have can also fit on this team as well. So let's go ahead and look at the character details. So if you want to see the builds that I'm running, so Clara, of course, she's going to be at level 80. She doesn't even have her signature light cone. Instead, I got her the one that you can get from Herta's store. But I do plan on getting Clara's signature light cone once I get the currency to do so, or if I get really lucky on a standard pull or something. Traces, hers are at 9, 9, and 7. Her skill, I could probably get that up a bit higher, but she's fine where she's at. And then for her relics, we do give her the Champion of Streetwise Boxing set, with as much attack, crit rate, crit damage as you can get. Some of these substats could be way better. This one's pretty nice. This one has crit damage as the main stat with some crit rate and break effect. For the boots, you really don't need to get speed on Clara because her damage is based off her enemies doing damage to her, not the other way around. So she actually doesn't need speed boots like a lot of other characters do. So we just give her some attack-based ones. And then for the planet set, we have the Inert Salsado. This gives her a bunch more crit rate. It also increases her follow-up attack damage by 15%, which includes, again, the counter attack. So physical damage boost here for the planet sphere. And then for the link rope, just attack percentage with some crit rate. I got a lot of break effect for some reason, but there you go. Crit rate, some crit damage if you can, and that's Clara pretty much. And she is at E0. I haven't been able to pull another copy of Clara since I got her initially. Next up is Herta. Herta is using the Birth of Self, and for some reason, every time I pull on a light cone banner, I end up getting like one copy of this light cone, even though it's not like a featured 4-star on it. That's why it's at Super Imposition 4. I feel like the next time I pull for light cones, I'm probably going to get this to Super Imposition 5. Traces. I did do a little bit of farming for Herta in between Pure Fiction and MOC. I did get those talents up a bit higher because they were like at 8, 7, 7 or something like that. So did a little bit of farming here and there. And the reason the numbers are like a teal color is because I have some Eidolons. And then I didn't bother getting her defense minor nodes because it's defense and it's on Pure Fiction. Don't really need it. Relics. I did transition her from, I used to run the 2-piece Glacial Hunter and 2-piece Ash Blazing Grand Duke, but now that I've been farming this domain a little bit more, I have the full set. If you can get one with some good substats, hey, more power to you. Or you can just do what I did, 2-piece Glacial Hunter, 2-piece this, and that's plenty. So for her, Herta, same thing, because she does most of her damage from her follow-up attack, she doesn't really need to get as much speed as other characters. So here we have just crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, crit damage on the body here with some crit rate a little bit, attack percentage boost, boots with crit rate, effect hit rate. You don't really need that. It does improve her chance to freeze though. Ice damage boost, again, Inert Salsado. And then link damage rope attack percentage. So plenty of damage on Herta there. And my Herta is at E6. You do get a lot of copies from her. Again, you get her for free from the story. But you also get copies of her as you do Simulated Universe. And then just add to the fact that she's been on some previous banners before. And it's pretty easy to get her to C6. Nothing fancy there. Now let's talk about Ruan Mei. I do not have her signature light cone. In fact, it's debatable which one is actually her best light cone, but she does have the Memories of the Past at Super Imposition 5. This is a very common light cone, so I don't feel like it's too crazy to have something like this. Traces, hers are maxed out. So my Ruan Mei's relics are the 2-piece Messenger set and the 2-piece Watchmaker. I've been farming this domain a lot recently for other characters, so I got a lot of Watchmaker's pieces, and I replaced her previous Thief pieces instead. And she's using the Kingdom of Banditry planet set, which gives her more break effect. So for her stats, we just want to get break effect and speed, basically, and then defense and HP percentage is good. That's basically what we have here. HP percentage on the body, just defense percent will also work. This one just has some nice break effect. Speed boots with some nice break effect as well. A little bit more speed would be nice, but you know what? She's at like 140 speed or something, and I'm completely fine with that. Energy recharge rope, HP percentage, or defense sphere as well. She's pretty easy to build. And I will go ahead and admit this, I am a free-to-play account, but you probably wouldn't believe me if I told you otherwise. I do have an E1 Ruan Mei because when I did pull for her, I actually got her twice in 110 pull. So that's why she's at E1. So yes, my Ruan Mei is super, super cracked. Yes. I'll admit that. Oops. Sorry, next character is Sparkle, who I also got. I do not have her signature light cone. I just gave her past and future, which gives her, when she uses her skill on an ally, they get increased damage for a turn. It's like a mini Bronya effect. I need to get this to Super Imposition 5 just to get a little bit more value out of it. Her traces are maxed out. And then for her set, she's using the Messenger. And for her, you want to get as much speed and crit damage as possible because she gives percentage of her crit damage as a buff. So that's why all of her pieces have some sort of crit damage on there. Crit damage as the main stat here. A little bit more speed would be nice. Here's some more crit damage. And then when we get to the planet set, you can just give her defense or HP percentage. This one gives her a nice bit of speed. An energy recharge rope with some effect res on there as well. Very nice. She also has the broken keel, which gives more crit damage to all her allies by 10%, which is really, really good. She is at E0. I didn't get as lucky when I pulled for her. Next up is Acheron. When it comes to DPS, I do pull for their light cone. And, Acheron is no different. She has her signature light cone, which is really good. Her traces are maxed out. She's using the Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters set, and because she is a DPS, we are looking for the usual kind of stuff here. Crit damage, speed, crit rate, attack percentage kind of stuff. So you can see that reflected on my artifact. She does have a lot of break effect. Some effect res is nice. There's a crit rate chest piece. I'm not really happy with that one, but it's fine. Speed with some crit rate, crit damage. She is using the Izumo planet set with lightning damage boost. This one, I'm trying to find an attack percentage one with some good substats, but I need to farm more basically. And then we also have a link rope, a little bit of speed, some crit damage, some effect hit rate. Her relics honestly aren't the best, but she still does a lot of damage regardless. Next up is Kafka. Light cone signature, of course, maxed out stuff. Now, my Kafka is still running the Band of Sizzling Thunder set. You don't have to, and in fact, I don't recommend it. You should be using the Prisoner set, which I've been farming thanks to the triple drops. So she's going to be getting a lot of more damage in the future. And then she's using the Ceiling Space Station for more attack percentage buffs. These ones have like okay-ish substats. There's like nothing to really brag about. Speed boots, attack percentage, chest piece. Remember that dot characters do not need crit rate or crit damage to just happen to roll like that. You just want effect hit rate, attack percentage, and speed being your main three, and then getting some effect res is always nice just in case. And that's pretty much her build. Mine is at E1, and this one wasn't because of luck. This one I purposely kept pulling for Kafka because I really like the character. She's just really, really good. And then I do plan to maybe E6 her someday, but there's just so many characters that I want to pull for that I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Next up is Black Swan, signature light cone, of course, maxed out traces. She is using the Prisoner in Deep Confinement set, and again, just like previous dot characters, speed, effect hit rate, what we're looking for, attack percentage also good. There's some speed there. I do want to replace that at some point. Effect hit rate on the main chest piece, speed boots. This one is awful stats. Planet set is the Pan Cosmic Commercial Enterprise, which gives her more EHR, which is good. This one is a wind damage boost one. And then attack percentage for the rope. But this one is also awful substats, but she's still doing really well. Just saying, just putting that out there. She's doing, whoops. really, really well. And then our last character is Bronya. I do have her signature light code, not from pulling it, but from the buying it in the store. It's not even level 80. What the heck? Traces. I didn't get all of her stuff, but she has pretty good traces. I do need to max them out at some point. She's using the messenger set. And for her, we just want speed, effect res. Pretty much it. Crit damage on the chest piece because she has a 100% chance to crit. And then energy recharge rope. Pretty much it. And she is at E2. I have lost some 50-50s to Bronya, and I have also gotten her in the standard banner, so that's why she's at E2. Not the worst person to lose your E2 to at all. And that's pretty much my characters. As you can see, they're not like the most optimally well built, but for those that were curious on seeing what I have, there you go. And hopefully this video is helpful to somebody that's maybe struggling on Pure Fiction. Hopefully the tips, tricks, advice, and just showcasing the gameplay was good enough to help you out. If not, feel free to ask me some questions in the comments below. I'll do my best to try to answer them and help you out best as I can. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to leave a like and or subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.